Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Thursday, July 1st, which means, Tom, you know what it means.
It's Bobby Bonilla Day,
Bobby
baby.
Bonilla Day. Wow. So I
What a
didn't
deal.
know I didn't know it was Bobby Bonilla Day until I went on ESPN and everything and saw everything about it. He's gonna get paid till I think 2035.
Yep, 2035. And he
That's
gets paid
ins-
$1 million every July 1st.
I mean that's
That's the best contract deal of all time. You can't tell me anything different.
no. I mean, yeah. We should do like a whole just like maybe like a segment on that contract because it had to be such weirdly done. I don't know. That's just very odd. But we have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we've had a great couple of days of soccer, so I will get into that a little bit. And this weekend coming up, it's going to have a lot of good games. We're obviously still, well, I guess not obviously. I mean, I will say we are still in our fantasy draft for our Dynasty League. And so we'll get to that towards the end. We're hoping to get on the clock for a live pick, but it may not happen considering we have 8 hours to make each pick. So it's kind of just it happens
Well,
or it doesn't
I
happen.
will say the guy that picks before us, like right before us, has been very good about when he's on the clock getting in and picking. It's all up to Hank Time Sports.
Yeah, yeah,
It
Hank.
is all up to Hank.
Hank's a good dude. I know him. His name's Henry. But
Yeah.
yeah, he I believe he works at a restaurant like early in the mornings, and then does like lifting during the afternoon, and then so he has a full day. So, but yes, Henry has taken a while, but he also thinks he's like a straight up real GM, and he just sends everybody trade proposals, which
Have
I'm
you gotten
shocked we
any?
haven't got one
I was gonna
because
say.
if anyone, I mean, I think everyone knows you're help. We're co-owners, and you're running this kind of more than I am. But I mean, if someone sent me a trade, and I don't know, maybe you didn't respond or something, I'd probably just accept it. I don't
Well,
know.
so I don't actually have like that much control over the team. You're the one that has like all of the control. I can't really do anything on Sleeper. I can't like make our pick. I
Yeah,
can't do
we'll
anything.
we'll figure that all out.
Yeah,
I mean, whether comes to
later.
Zach helping us out or
Yeah.
what, yeah, I mean, it we need to put it in a position where you can do a lot of things because once the actual season starts, I struggle mightily with paying attention every
Right.
week. So we definitely need your expertise on that. But um, we also wanted to congratulate Mississippi State. They won the College World Series last night. My Mississippi State hat. It was their first national title in anything ever, which is
Oh wow.
it's it's hard to believe. I think there are like two other. I'll look it up. I believe there's two other Power Five schools who have never won a national championship. Um, I'm
That's
looking it up.
interesting. Power Five. Um, national titles. They never won anything. See, my issue is I just don't follow like college baseball too much, or at least I didn't. Um, so it's gonna be one of those weird
Wow.
schools.
So guess who? All right, this one you probably won't get, but Kansas State is one of them.
K State.
Um,
Okay.
which makes sense because like they don't really have a sport really to do. You'll never guess the other one. It's an ACC team. It's pretty relevant ACC team
To never win any sport national title.
ever.
Wait, let me look at the ACC because I actually don't know that off the top of my head.
Yeah. So obviously, but I mean, congratulations to Mississippi State. That had to be cool, and they beat Vanderbilt, who had basically two of the top three picks in the upcoming MLB draft. So, all right,
I
Tom, you got
will. I know. I'm looking. I'm gonna go with Lake Forest. No, that's wrong. Boston. No. Shit. I don't know. Pitt. That's my final answer.
you're close. Virginia Tech.
Oh.
Which is weird because but it's not weird if you think about it because their main sport probably is football and then they kind of are middle of the road in every other like major sport, so it kind of makes sense. And I got to tell you, I mean, I know Mississippi State, it's baseball, so it's a little different, but like, I don't know when Kansas State is going to win a title in anything. I don't know when Virginia Tech's going to win a title in anything, because I can tell you what, it's not going to be football for a while, especially if they have Justin Fuente on the sideline there still. But I digress. Let's move on. Today in sports history, in 1859, this is just a wild thing that I saw. I don't know if I believe it. It's just weird. In 1859, the first intercollegiate baseball game, Amherst beat Williams 66-32 in Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
What?
Either the pitchers really, really, really sucked, or baseball then I guess must have been just like, like work softball. I guess I don't know. Like you just hit
Everyone
dingers.
was trashed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, hang on. Wikipedia said that it was Amherst and Williams College, but it was 73-32.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
I mean,
even more. They scored over 100 combined runs.
that's what if we'll get into the MLB too, right, in a little bit. But if the MLB needs anything, it needs that. So maybe they should be looking into the past. All right, and then in 1916, Pittsburgh shortstop Honus Wagner, at 42 years old and 4 months, connects at Cincinnati to become the oldest to hit an inside the park home run. The Pirates beat the Reds 2-1. Two wildly different score lines there. And then today is Carl Lewis's 60th birthday. So that's that. Let's head into some, obviously, current events, some news. We did talk about Bobby Bonilla Day. How much does he get every year? Like it's like
$1.1 million through 2035.
I mean, so where is there a clause that? What if he dies? Where does the money go?
His family.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because I feel like the Mets were like maybe when Bernie Madoff was like attached to them, they might have been like a team in the '90s that like went out and tried to kill him.
Well, so they actually started doing this because of the Bernie Madoff incident. They needed to shed cap because they lost a lot of money in it. And they said, okay, like, I want you off the books. And he's like, well, I'll defer my contract through however long. But like the real thing was they weren't going to pay him. They owed him $5.9 million. And he ended up getting 1.19 until forever, basically. He's going to be 72 years old when he's done getting that money, and he hasn't played in the majors since 2001.
I guess I don't know how. I mean, if I'm Bobby Bonilla, I don't accept it. But I don't know if you're the Mets, how you don't like try and buy the guy out.
They tried. I mean,
I'm sure they didn't. And I guess if you're Bobby Bonilla, you're like, why? I literally don't have to work and do anything really, and I get $1.1 million. And I'm sure he gets paid on the side to like. I'm sure this is the best day. Like, I'm sure he gets interviewed, like paid for interviews every day this year. Like, good for him. Good for Bobby Bonilla.
In 2000, they tried buying him out for the 5.9, but he instead took 25-year period of annual installments from 2011 until 2035. So they didn't have to pay him for 10 years, but then they have to end up paying him 25 years, $1 million. So he makes over like, oh God, what is it? I want to say it's over like $40 million on the 25-year period because the 1.1s add up or whatever. It's something like that. And they end up paying him like 4 or 5 times the amount that they owed him at the time. It makes 0 sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the Mets. Hopefully they're good this year, though. So who knows? We don't have to talk much about it. I feel like this was not a surprise, really. I feel like I kind of saw this one coming, unfortunately. Trevor Bauer's in some trouble for assault. I don't think it's sexual assault. I think it's just assault, but it was during a sexual, like, whatever act and things like that. He choked a woman out, apparently. I believe the woman because I just, you have to at first glance, and then it is Trevor Bauer. It doesn't surprise me. But it also, at the same time, it's come to the point where if this woman is telling the truth, then Trevor Bauer should be in trouble and everything. Like, I agree. But we've now seen a lot of these women that have come forward and they just lie about it. And I don't know. There was what didn't involve an athlete, but there was a woman who in Cleveland in like the '60s who a white woman that blamed a black guy or something for like rape, and they threw him in jail for 33 years or whatever, and then he just got out like a month ago, and basically because the chick recanted. So I don't know what the next step in that process is. But obviously, if this is true about Trevor Bauer, it's not good. Um, but I mean, I'm not terribly surprised by it, but it is what it is. I don't know if you have anything on that. But if not,
No, I don't. This is actually the first that I'm hearing of it, so I'm a little put off. But like you said, it doesn't surprise me
yeah,
that much.
it still just blows my mind that like, and Mickey Callaway, the old Mets coach, is one of these guys too. That's like, this stuff is going to get out now. Like, if this was back in like 2006, 2007, earlier too in the 2000s, like, yeah, you could get away with stuff like this. Nowadays, it's going to get found out. Like, I don't know why these guys think they can keep these secrets and keep these women or like other people quiet. Like, it just doesn't happen anymore. So, I mean, like, I don't know. If you're a pro athlete, you can go to a bar and find a lot of women that will pretty much let whatever happens. So I just don't be an idiot. And Trevor Bauer is an idiot. Hope it's not true because I do like him, but if it is, then he should be suspended. And then I don't know what suspended like the same. Aroldis Chapman was suspended like 60 games or whatever. I don't know. But we'll move on. They released the All-Star jerseys. I haven't seen them. I'm gonna look them up right now. I've heard they're really bad, which I mean doesn't surprise me, because the MLB does everything wrong. And once again, like I put underneath this, they're doing the home run derby, and that's great and all, but not having Fernando Tatis and like the biggest guys there. I mean, it's not like the dunk contest where like people want to see just sweet dunks. Like the home run derby, the guys want to see the stars play, and every single time now they just don't, and it's gotten old. And
the fact that Tatis and Guerrero are not there make it so that like there's no point in watching. Like,
exactly,
yeah, it'll be cool to see Shohei Ohtani go up against Pete Alonso, but like that's really all you'd watch for.
Yeah, I mean, I get what the All-Star game is. Like, it actually used to mean something when it meant the home field in the World Series. Like that, I actually thought that was cool. It gives the guys a reason to play, and they took that away. And now, like, I feel like this should be just an end of the year thing, like the Pro Bowl is. Like, there's no reason to do this in the middle. Like, nobody cares about the All-Star game anymore. It's a joke. It's become more and more of a joke. Like, the home run derby is not as exciting. It's very easy to make the home run derby exciting again, and you don't have to even involve the best players. You just put a net around the entire, like, everywhere, and then if people want to go to it, they have to sign a legal document that says if I die, I die, or whatever, something like that. And you let the guys use metal bats, and you let them hit the ball as far as they can, which is going to be like 700 feet. And then yes, I think everybody in America would be interested in the home run derby. So,
in all honesty, I look forward more now that I used to like the home run derby, like you were saying, but people look forward to now the celebrity softball game more than they look forward to the home run derby and the All-Star game. Watching Bill Nye hit a dinger. You know what I mean?
It's more interesting to me than watching, I don't know, Garrett Cole go out and strike out Ozzy Albies or something. Like, I just don't care. So, whatever.
Anyway.
On to the NBA. So, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I cursed Milwaukee. I basically said before that, I tweeted, how soon until Milwaukee fans start hearing about like the injury complaint and the injury excuse for every team they play? And then 30 minutes later, Giannis breaks his entire knee and everything. So I I feel bad, but I don't apologize to Milwaukee fans. Like, nobody wants to see Milwaukee in the finals. They're not exciting. Should be the most exciting player in basketball, and just simply is not. Him and Ben Simmons are on the same level to me. Like, I have no interest in watching Giannis play basketball. He's not. He'll be a Robin for the rest of his career, and he'll get an excuse for this one because of his injury. But whatever. I don't care. The Bucks aren't good. They're not exciting. Now that the Suns are in, I think that saves the finals for, I would say, regular viewers like me. Like, I do think the finals viewing the ratings are gonna be lower just because it's so late this year. It's like July, so I think the ratings are gonna be lower. But at least if the Suns are in, I'll watch a couple games. Had it been the Clippers and Bucks, I think we talked about it. I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have watched a second. But I do think I do think it's the best for the NBA if it's the Hawks and the Suns. I would watch every game. But yeah, whatever. And then I just have to, like, at some point, like, you need to reevaluate Kawhi Leonard. Like, I think I said last episode, like, I respect him for just, like, knowing he's hurt and, like, not playing and things like that. But, like, he's been hurt every playoffs. Like, I mean this sincerely. Like, if I was starting an NBA team right now, I don't know if I would take him in the first round. I don't know if he would be a first round pick for me. Like, he's really good at defense and he's, like, above average offensively, but then he's just hurt all the time. Like, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard should be, like, they should have one of the best, like, the two best defensive pairings in the NBA, and they should. I don't know. Kawhi, and he was on the bench last night, and, like, I just don't get how much it's come to the point to me where, like, the robot jokes are funny, but, like, I really think he is a robot. Like he has no emotions. Like, I got to tell you, I don't want a guy like that on my team. I just don't.
Well, and I used to be a very big Kawhi fan. I actually saw him play in two separate, like, playoff games when I was in San Antonio for whenever. I saw him drop 40 and 45 in those two games, and it was honestly incredible to watch him play. But now, as he's getting older and he's still, like, doing the same thing, and he's doing the load management and, I'm just staying healthy long term by sitting out for half the games or whatever. I really do question his passion for the game.
I agree.
And I that's not something that you say about guys who go to the NBA because they live and breathe the sport, and I get that and everything. But Kawhi, you're in Game 5 or Game 6. Like, you're about to get your ass sent home, and you're not out there playing. You're not putting it all out there on the line. I mean,
and like, the other thing that's odd about it is, like, I don't really even know what his injury is. They say his knee, but it could be his.
He's still nursing the same injury that he got destroyed from that made him leave San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, I think people have just gotten so sick of these same superstars. I honestly think that. I think people are just done watching, like, if you're an NBA fan now, like, you watched Steph Curry for all those years when, like, the 2000s when he was really good and, like, everything like that. Like, even if you are a Steph Curry fan now, like, I would rather watch. If you were a Steph Curry fan, I feel like you would rather watch Trae Young. It's the same guy, but he's younger. He's going to do it for another 5 years. Like, like Giannis and Kawhi are the same person basically. I fully expect when Kawhi retires, Giannis will become the new Kawhi. Like, and I just think that it's great that the passing of the guard has happened. It seems like the Devin Booker and all these young guys, Donovan Mitchell, Jokic, even, like, I'm cool with Jokic. It's a new face. Like, I think people are just over the Kevin Durant's, the James Hardens, the Kyrie Irvings, the LeBron James, the Anthony Davises. I mean, like, I understand Anthony Davis has been hurt, but, like, when he came out in his first couple of years, like, he was touted to be, like, the next LeBron James. And then he went to and then I think he faltered a while in New Orleans. Like, he just, was like either hurt or like wouldn't play because they wanted to trade him, and then he's gotten to LA, and I mean, he's another guy. Like I wouldn't build a team around him. Like
Always
there's
hurt.
no like he used to have like some kind of range. He really doesn't have a 3-point shot anymore. He's way too skinny to go inside, and he's always gets hurt, so he's afraid to go inside. I I think people are just like, I really do just think people are fed up and done watching the same guys do the same thing for the last 10 years, which is good. And
Except for Chris Paul fans.
which obviously we have to bring that up. That's awesome. I like, even if they do play the Hawks, like I'll cheer for the Suns just because like I would like to see Chris Paul get a ring.
Yeah, me too.
I would also like him to just retire too after this. So then like I
We
would
can go out a winner.
yeah go out a winner, and then hopefully the Suns. Well, not hopefully. I hope the Suns are very good for a long time. But in my Cavs brain, hopefully they all like flame out, and then we can trade for. I would trade every player on the roster for DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges. Not for Devin Booker, or I would trade every single player on the Cavs roster.
And
it's
that's
not
much a better minimum contract.
and it's not even close. Like I think I would trade everyone on the Cavs roster probably just for DeAndre Ayton. So whatever. We went over Milwaukee. Trae Young is said to be questionable along with Capella tonight. I still think like Trae Young is a guy he's gonna go. He was bouncing up and down on the sidelines the other night, and he was really so. Hopefully he'll play. I think he will because he's not like Kawhi and he's not a robot. And then Jerry Colangelo, the guy for the U.S. basketball, basically said LeBron's done in the Olympics. I respect that you can say that, Jerry Colangelo, but if in 4 years if he's 40 years old and he wants to do one last Olympic run, you have no choice but to say yes. So
he will be fired if he doesn't pick him.
If LeBron literally came out like in 4 years and was like, I do want to do Olympics, they would put him on the team in an instant. So, and then basically now that I'm back in the NBA, this week has been rough for me. Obviously the Cavs got the 3rd pick, and now it seems like Houston's going to take my guy Jalen Green, and that means the Cavs are going to have to go with Evan Mobley. And like at this point, I think I'm at the point where I'd rather trade down than have Evan Mobley. Like I just bigs just don't do it for me anymore. Like other than Jokic and Joel Embiid, like there's no centers that are good, like superstars anymore. Like Jalen Green is going to score 23 points a game in his rookie year, and then Evan Mobley is going to score like 11, grab like 6.2 rebounds, average like 2.04 blocks. And it's just like I just don't want to do it. I would rather them take the other G League kid, Jonathan Kuminga. There's a lot of unknown about him. No one knows how old he really is because he's from the Congo. I don't care. I don't want to have a Mobley. I just don't. I don't at all. He does not do anything for me. So it's been a tough week. It's been a tough week reading all the reports that say that Houston's going to go with Green.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, CBS thinks they're going with Mobley.
Yeah, but there was a report out there that Jonathan Gavani, one of the ESPN guys, they're going to prioritize Green. I mean, Green is going to be a high level, high volume scorer in the NBA, and not surprisingly, Houston, who is literally in the start of a rebuild, they're going to want a guy you can build around and start around. I would love if they take Mobley. Like I said, if they take Green and it comes down to Mobley, Jalen Suggs, or Kuminga, I would rather have A, Jalen Suggs, B, Kuminga, or C, trade out. I just don't want to have a Mobley. I don't think
Scotty Barnes.
If they draft Scotty Barnes, I will once again be completely out on the NBA. Scotty Barnes is going to be horrible. He barely has a jump shot, and it's unbelievable. Florida State puts out the same player every single year. It's the same player.
Patrick Williams.
Yeah, it was Patrick Williams last year, and the year before, or maybe it was 2 years before that, it was Jonathan Isaac. They put out the same exact players. And the only one who's been okay, even though he hasn't really been okay, has been Jonathan Isaac because he's been hurt for 2 years. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't want Evan Mobley, and it's been really hard for me. So I just want everyone to know that. And if you want to tweet me, Venmo me like 10, $15 because you feel bad for me, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no. Um, Now on to the
So bad.
NFL, I guess. Good news. NFL stadiums are supposed to be at full capacity. Today, Indianapolis was the last team to get okayed, and they did get okayed. So they should be at full capacity once the season comes around. I think that's awesome. I am excited for it. I think they should have probably done it towards the end of the year last year, but I'm fine with it now that it's back. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm excited for it. I know I was very happy to hear Indy was going to be full capacity because that means that there's more tickets for me to get while I'm out there. So I'm happy about it, and things are starting to turn the corner. Hopefully.
All right.
Yeah.
The Saints made Ryan Ramczyk the highest paid right tackle. I guess that's a good move, but I mean, I assume you know more than I do. I mean, aren't the Saints in salary cap hell? So it really doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
I mean, the Saints are always in some sort of salary cap hell, but they always find a way out of it somehow. Whether it's giving $120 million contract to Taysom Hill for voidable years, or the Saints are going to find a way out of their hell. But I think locking Ramczyk up for an extended period of time was a smart move because he is one of the better tackles in the league. So I'm not too surprised that he got a deal. I'm just a little more surprised that he got a deal before they extended Lattimore, in all honesty.
Lattimore got arrested earlier this offseason
Yeah, that's
with
true.
with like bad things, like with guns, I believe.
Yeah, I think he had guns.
The only thing I'll say about this signing is Tristan Wirfs, when his payday comes up, he's gonna get he will I guarantee he gets the highest right tackle contract in the history of the NFL. I mean, he was an absolute animal last year in his rookie year, and I mean, he's going to be blocking for Brady again, so you got to think he's going to have a good year again this year. So
Right.
that's just, and if you look back on that, like that's just so lucky that the Bucks ended up with. They got Tristan Wirfs in the first round, who ended up being, I mean, Mekhi Becton looked good. I mean, Jedrick Will, I mean, Tristan Wirfs was clearly the best offensive lineman out of that draft. And then you look later on, and in the second round, they get what's his name, the safety.
No, in the second round they. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking last year. Bunting, or no, they got the guy's son.
Yeah, no, not Lewis.
No, I know who you're talking about. You can keep talking. I'll find it.
I got it. Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah.
They got him in the second round. So I mean, I think we all know at this point in the NFL, like it takes a little bit of luck to win a Super Bowl. It really does. Like you got to kind of luck out with your draft picks. You kind of got to luck out with injuries.
Yeah.
So
and you said Wirfs is going to get the highest deal for. Does he play right tackle or left?
He's right tackle.
Okay, that means that Becton playing left is going to get a monster contract, and I'm not looking forward to that day.
I almost wonder though if and this is kind of more of just like the NFL going forward with all positions. Like I wonder when the time is going to come that the NFL teams just stop paying these guys huge contracts because they can go back in the draft and find someone else.
The day is surely going to come, but the way that the Bucks built their team and how they're paying all their guys their money and everything that's due, I don't think we're going to see it for a little while now, especially considering that they just brought back all 22 starters. But I don't know. You're right. It's going to be very interesting when that day comes.
There's going to be a day where there's a guy like, I don't know, like Baker Mayfield or, yeah, because I'll say Baker Mayfield's more of like a popularity-wise, he's more in the middle than Josh Allen. But I mean, there's going to come a day where a guy like that comes up for his extension, and they're like, no, we'll just pick someone this year.
Yeah, well, and I'm skeptical because I think that the Browns might end up doing that with Baker should he not have a career year.
I would be shocked if anything happens to Baker.
That's fair. And he did lead them to a playoff win, so I guess I can't say that it's too bad.
I mean, yeah. The Washington football team is in the news again. So they made a great personnel change. They hired a woman as the co-CEO. I heard it was a very long process, and they went through multiple rounds of interviews. And the new co-CEO is Dan Snyder's wife. So I don't know I don't know why they did that or what their thoughts were on that. I don't know. So, but hey, whatever.
Well, they're probably just lining up for Schneider's next scandal so that when he has to sell the team, it goes to the co-CEO, which stays within his family.
All right, and then before we get into our fantasy, I just all the first round rookies. I think we should take a shot at when they're going to start for all of them. I think we'll both agree that we think Lawrence is going to start week 1.
Yeah.
I think Zach is whatever his last name is. Wilson is going to start week 1 as well.
Yeah, he's going to start because there's no way James Morgan wins the starting job. Just saying.
Yeah, and then I don't think we see whenever their bye is for the Bears. I think that's when they throw Fields in, just because Andy Dalton's. It's going to come to a point where they just can't keep playing Andy Dalton anymore.
Well, I don't know if their bye is in week 11, so that's that. I could see that, but if the Bears are doing well with Dalton, which I really don't know how he's going to do, because Andy Dalton always finds a way to be mediocre. Right? He always led the Bengals to the playoff with an 8-8 record and then choked in the playoffs, but he was a playoff QB. So I don't know what happens to the Bears, but I think we see Fields a lot sooner than a lot of people think.
I agree. And then I also agree with that for Mac Jones. Reports coming out of Patriots camp is that they have no faith in Cam Newton. Basically, they're going to start with him, but Mac Jones, I think, is going to end up playing a lot sooner than people expect. And you know what? He's probably going to be okay, and it's going to be horrible. So before the NFL season starts, we are going to have a show where we just go through New England's season last year and the highlights of them losing, just so we can get that in our system one more time before they probably go back to being good this year and the next year after that. So we are going to hold a Patriots just happy death day kind of thing. So that'll be soon because
I'm right. I'm always about it.
We this year's going to suck. And then Trey Lance, I honestly don't think he'll see the field till next year. And
no, especially because if the 49ers stay healthy and they get those key guys back that they lost to injuries, they'll be a playoff team. They'll be in contention because their defense is good enough where it'll carry even Jimmy Garoppolo to a Super Bowl like we saw 2 years ago now. But if they become healthy, he's not going to see the field. If they're hurt again, though, they might throw him out there to get some playing time and to get some experience before they make a run at it.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that if Jimmy G goes down, Trey Lance is going in.
Yeah, well, I actually don't know who the other quarterbacks are on the roster.
Isn't it Mullins still?
No, Mullins signed with Philadelphia.
Jesus Christ, what a quarterback room in Philadelphia.
And then Beathard signed with Jacksonville. So I'm pretty sure the only other 2 quarterbacks on the roster behind Garoppolo are Lance and Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen, yeah.
Josh Rosen's winning a Super Bowl. Oh, you remember his comments that he made after he got drafted? He's like, we're going to win a lot of Super Bowls. I'm going to make everyone pay that they didn't choose me. The other 9 people picked wrong.
I don't think Josh Rosen was as good as everyone thought he was coming out. I thought I always thought he had a little bit of like not a mental problem, not like in real life, but like a football mental problem where he kind of
Mental.
thought he was too hot for school, whatever. I will say though, he never really got a fair chance, ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, 1 year behind I guess.
Arizona, and I
Yeah.
think they didn't start him until like week 8, and then by week 8 they were already terrible. So, and then they knew they were switching coaches. So I think he would have done anything if he had more? Maybe a little bit, but I mean, listen, I'm not going to feel bad for Josh Rosen. The dude is now living in California, and he gets to hold a clipboard for his job and get paid probably close to $1 million a year. So, no, I'm not going to cry for the poor for
in
Josh
his
Rosen.
rookie year, he started in week 4, and then for fantasy purposes anyway, he was consistently double digits, which isn't horrible. But then the next year in 2019, he only played in 6 games, and then he hasn't played in a game since week 6.
Josh Rosen is 100% going to be a guy that, like, in 5 years is still on a roster, and I don't know what roster it'll be, but it'll be like the first round of the playoffs, and their quarterback is hurt, and Josh Rosen's going to come in and like have one good game during the playoffs, and then they'll go back to the starter, and so he'll just solidify himself as a clipboard guy for the rest of his life. Like I really do. I think he's going to have like one game in the playoffs where he just crushes it, and then, hey, Josh Rosen could say he won a game.
Josh Rosen could say he did something. He'll be like Frank Reich. He'll be the new age Frank Reich, except without the good coaching career.
Get out of here. All right. So on to our fantasy draft. I'm going to pull the board up.
All right.
Um,
The team is goated. Just saying again.
Tom's a lot higher on our team than I am. All right. There we go.
There it is.
This is us. We took Herbert in the first round, which I thought was not good. I will say I got good responses from Zach and the other guys about that. It was actually a decent pick. So
the Herbert pick?
Yeah.
I'm high on Herbert. He's going to compete this year and for a long time.
I agree. And then we went Burrow, which if we did make a mistake, this is where we made the mistake by not taking a running back, which I think we probably would have taken Chubb.
Yeah, I was higher on Chubb. It would have been between Chubb and Akers of who was left. You and I both aren't very high on Henry's long-term deal, but he's also 26 years old, whereas Akers is 22 and Chubb is 25. Actually, I guess Chubb and Akers are,
And, I mean, the real issue was, I mean, I guess it happens in fantasy, but, I mean, right before we went, I mean, we were definitely going to go running back, but Kamara and Barkley both came off the board right in front of us. I would not have been able to pass on Alvin Kamara.
No. Kamara was way above the rest of the running backs that were available. I don't know what would have happened, and you can obviously comment on this as well. I don't know what would have happened if Barkley was sitting there.
I think we probably would have taken him.
I think we would have had to, because you have to expect Barkley is going to have a good bounce back year. And like when he does play, he's a top 10 running back at minimum. I mean, he played 13 games in 2019 and finished 10. So he missed out on 4 games or 3 games.
Yeah.
And when he played a full 16, he was number 1.
Yeah. So I mean, because you had to kind of talk me into Burrow, because if he was coming back injured, we would not have been able to pass on either of those. But I think Burrow's good. I mean, we're gonna have 2 good quarterbacks with the super flex. So obviously, I don't know if we explained it last time, but we're in a super flex league. I don't know what it means. Tom, explain it.
Super flex is just an extra roster spot that is a flex player that you can use on either a quarterback, a running back, a wideout, or a tight end. Whereas a normal flex spot is running back, wideout, or tight end without the quarterback. So the super in super flex is that you get to use it on a quarterback.
Yeah, so basically that's why we went 2 quarterbacks early. We weren't the only ones to go 2 quarterbacks early.
Schroeder coach over there.
Yeah,
Or
I don't
Prescott
know
and Jackson.
I don't know who that is. But he took Prescott and Jackson. I at least like Herbert and Burrow better than I like Prescott and Jackson. I don't trust Lamar Jackson at all to do
Well, and
much.
if he had taken Burrow and Prescott, which would have been a horrible choice because they're both coming off really bad injuries, so I get why he didn't. But if he had gone Burrow and Prescott, and we were sitting with Jackson and Barkley and Kamara both came off the board like they did, we would have been looking at Trevor Akers because Lamar. I don't believe any of the reports that he's actually going to be good this year when he goes to throw the ball.
Yeah, no, I already said it. I mean, he was supposed to be the one I was like. He was projected to be the one I was because I don't know if I asked you for help in the first round. I don't know if you were officially on board then but yeah, so I was not going to take Lamar Jackson was. I mean, he plays for the Ravens, so he was not allowed. I made an exception for J.K. Dobbins. I mean, and if you look at so. I think Metcalf was a good pick. I think because I don't know how well Najee Harris is going to do, and I do think A.J. Brown's numbers are going to be way down because of Julio. I think the only way Metcalf would have changed for us is if Jefferson was on the board.
Yeah, once I saw that Tito Chubb went quarterback, I knew that we were getting Jefferson, Metcalf, or Diggs was really the three wideouts we were looking at. Because we were talking about maybe going Najee with the running back pick. I know we talked about Zeke, but we said it was too early for him, just with the talent on the board. So we kind of talked ourselves into going wideout, and we knew we were getting Jefferson, Metcalf, or Diggs. And you're right. I ranked them in that order. I personally, I like Jefferson, Metcalf, and then Diggs for long term.
Yeah, but I don't hate the Metcalf pick because I think it kind of weighs itself out because I don't necessarily. I mean, we talked about it. I don't necessarily trust Kirk Cousins, but I do actually trust Russell Wilson a little bit more than him. So
yeah.
And then whatever we went with Dobbins, I think he's going to have a good year. I think that's a good pick.
And he'll be the focal point of the running offense for however long he's going to be in Baltimore.
And then, I mean, we were so close to Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I thought for sure once they went wide receiver, I thought for sure we would be able to get our hands on Pitts. And I don't think George Kittle's a bad pick, but just the fact that Pitts was right before it makes it like it. I just don't. I'm not happy about that. Well, but I do think,
especially considering that I'm assuming ZT McAdoo is Zach.
I know though.
Well, I'm not fantasy for you, Zach, but this is the other one.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know. Because I was looking at McAdoo's team. He's got 2 running backs and 2 quarterbacks. I'm like, okay, because we have 3 wideout positions, I thought there was no way, after the 3 wideouts went in a row, I thought there was no way he was going to pass on getting Jamar Chase as his one. But he ended up going Pitts, and it made me very sad.
Yeah, we were right there for Pitts. And then the more and more I look at it, I really like the Montgomery pick. I'm happy that he was there. I don't know if you read it, but Zach or one of the guys did a whole article on Mixon and how he's not really an RB1. I don't know if that would have changed anything. I mean, it would have changed my opinion, I guess, probably, but I don't know about yours.
I mean, if you click on Mixon's profile, you bring up the headline off here is from Rotor Baller, except for a larger workload. This is the first time in Mixon's career that he's not going to have Giovanni Bernard taking the passing downs. And he's a very capable receiving back. He just never gets the opportunities. And if you scroll down on the projections slide over there, you can see his numbers through the years. In 2018, when he first took over the larger role, he was a RB10. And then the next year, he was RB13 in PPR. And then obviously last year he only played 6 games, but he had good numbers for the 6 games. I mean, he scored 4 touchdowns in 6 games. He had, 450 rushing or total yards. That's only going to go up now that Bernard's not there, and his only real competition is Puka Williams, who they drafted this year in like the 4th or 5th round.
Okay, well, once again, I still like our pick of
Oh yeah,
Montgomery.
no, I love Dobbins though, and I love Montgomery to be our RB2 because he is another one that's not going to have too much competition. I guess they signed Damian Williams and they had Tariq Cohen, which I didn't love, but Montgomery when he was under Bill Lazor as the OC, or at least as the play caller, he was playing at like the RB2 overall, and he finished RB4 once Lazor took
Yeah,
over the play calls. So I agree,
so
that was a great pick.
I like him. And then I think Claypool's good because I really do think Claypool is going to catch 10 to 13 touchdown passes this year just in the just because I think he's going to get a lot of targets in the red zone. I think he's going to get a lot of targets overall because I think Ben is going to want to throw to him rather than Juju.
Yeah, I mean, Juju is on the 1 year
I
deal.
thought I lost you.
No, sorry. Juju is on the 1 year deal now this year. He's playing for a long term contract. They're going to try and feed him, but Claypool, I think, just has the skill set that the Steelers are looking for. He
Yeah,
is
he's
what
big
they
physical.
expected Juju to be.
Yeah, and Chase Claypool is what Chase Claypool is what the Ravens wish they drafted every year.
Yes,
A
he
big.
bails. Yeah.
And then we did get Josh Jacobs for our RB2, which is good. I think.
He's our 3.
Oh, who's our second? Who's our first? Oh
Dobbins.
yeah, Dobbins. I forgot about Dobbins.
Yeah.
And then now we're up. What?
I was just gonna say Jacobs is gonna get the volume even with Kenyon Drake there because Drake is gonna be more of a receiving kind of back. But as we move up to our next pick, if you hit that up arrow one more time, it'll pull up a bigger portion of the board. There you go. Now you can sort of see a little bit. We are thinking probably getting a third wideout to fill out our starters other than the defense. Do we do kickers in this league? I forget.
No,
Okay,
it's part
good.
of the defense, I believe.
Good. So
breaking news: Giannis is out for Game 5 tonight.
Yeah, that was expected.
Sorry, it just came up on my phone.
No, that's fine. It was expected. I'm sure it was a question on people's minds.
Yeah, I think here I don't know. I like Jalen Waddle in theory.
Mm-hmm.
I might
He has the potential to be the number one guy down the road, but maybe not is really the issue.
To me, it's probably between Waddle and Judy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I like Galladay, but I mean, he's going to get double teamed all game.
Yeah, especially because there's no other.
Yeah, I mean Slayton's out there.
Slayton's out there. They actually have a pretty decent receiving core because when Sterling Shepard plays, he's actually a decent receiver. The only issue that I really have with Galladay is he has Daniel Jones throwing him the football. So the other
which
guy
is also an issue for Denver as well.
Yeah, assuming it's that they don't get Rodgers.
Yeah,
but
I mean, yeah.
Waddle has Tua throwing him the ball, and that's a huge question mark.
Yeah.
But the other guy that I was considering, and you might not love it, is DJ Chark. And I know that you were saying Lawrence this, Lawrence that. He's going to be the one. He's going to be the guy that they look to. But again, it's another unknown quarterback situation. So I don't really know which guy to go to.
What do you think about Cooper Kupp?
I like Cooper Kupp, but he's got the injury history.
He's got a new quarterback.
He does have Stafford, which I do like. He's also 28 years old, and I think he's had both his ACLs repaired already. I think he tore them both.
He's projected to have the highest points.
Out of guys that are left?
Yeah, or at least the guys I'm looking at. 256. Oh, no, yeah, 262.
Yeah. So 264 is for Kupp. Adam Thielen's projected for 165 projected points. But Adam Thielen's also 30 years old. And then Deebo Samuel is projected for 167. But I think it's way too early to take Deebo Samuel. The only guy that I would have thought about was Ayuk from the San Fran offense.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna leave this one up to you.
There's a lot going into it here. In all honesty, I might not. Now that we're like sitting here looking and talking about it, I don't know how much I love going wide out here because we might be able to find a guy like Laviska Shenault a round or two from now, or Rashad Bateman a round or two from now, Deebo, Michael Pittman maybe 3 rounds from now, Curtis Samuel could be 3 rounds from now, Elijah Moore, Rondale Moore,
Well, we
Jarvis
all
Landry
know.
we can get in 4 or 5 rounds from now.
Yeah, I know why you're doing this.
I don't want him.
I know why you're doing this.
Why?
Because you want James Robinson.
I do not want James Robinson. I don't want to touch him with a 10-foot pole. I want nothing to do with any James Robinson stock this year, especially because this is Dynasty.
I mean, and I don't know who else you go with.
That's true. The real question is, where else do you go?
I'm looking at running back has no one. I mean, I like Trey Sermon, but you're right. He's going to be stuck behind everyone else. Who's this guy? Ronald Jones might have. He's
going to be splitting with like the 7 running backs that they have.
Well, yeah, and we already have 3 running backs.
Yeah, but the reason that I'm so pro running back a lot of the time is that it's the like least deep position, and they get taken early. I mean, you look at the draft board, the first. Wait, where'd it go? There were running backs out of the first 16 picks. 3, 4. There were 8 running backs out of the first 16 picks, and then you had the whole run of Dobbins, Swift, Gibson, Eckler, Jones, Elliott, Hilaire. They're flying off the board. So we have 3 starting running backs, which is huge, and they're all really young, which is also huge. So I guess you're right. We could probably sit on another running back for a round.
Like I said, I'm probably just going to leave this one up to you. I don't really.
I have to.
Yeah, you have to make this is where you come in, Tom. This is where you make the tough decisions because, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So, I really don't know where to go with this. I thought I was set on wideout, but as we talk more and more about the issues that arise with a bunch of these wideouts right now, I don't know where to go. Part of me is saying, hey, take one of the young rookies and hope that they pan out and you can trade one of your 3 quarterbacks. Like if we took a Justin Fields and he ends up being what everyone expects him to be, we could trade Herbert, Burrow, or Fields and get a king's ransom in return. You know, same thing can be said about Zach Wilson. Or you can go the other way and take need base and take a rookie running back or a rookie receiver and just hope that they pan out. Because our team right now, while it's young, it's looking to compete. So taking a guy like Sermon, where he's going to be stuck behind Mostert for at least 10 games this season, and maybe even into next season, because I think they just re-signed him to a big contract. Taking a guy like Sermon doesn't help us now while we compete with our young guys. He's a guy that pans out 3 to 4 years from now.
All right, then I think it's pretty easy. Then I think we go with Galladay.
Go with Galladay. True. But
I mean, he's the one you got to think you're going to get guaranteed production from.
Right. Well, the other thought that I had, if we're looking to stay young and compete, would be Judy, because even though he has Locke throwing him the ball right now, he had a bit of a down year, but he still saw 113 targets last season, which is a lot for a rookie. Now, he only caught 52 of them, but if there's anyone who, do we know who's supposed to win the quarterback battle? Is it supposed to be Locke or Bridgewater?
I have no idea.
If it's Bridgewater, I actually like Judy a little bit more because he's kind of the receiver that Bridgewater likes throwing to.
Hey, like I said, this one's going to be yours. I will also say that the next quarterback, if we're drafting a quarterback, we're getting Baker Mayfield.
Right.
I should not because I love him, but if we're going to draft a third quarterback, like, I'm not saying we need to take him in the next round for sure. I'm saying that if he's on the board in 2 rounds or so, I think we should take him because I think he's going to have a good year.
Right.
And then, like you said, I mean, someone gets hurt, you can then either. Then you also have the option to trade Mayfield if you need to, because someone's. I mean, you'd have to think a quarterback is going to get hurt this year, and I don't know. I think Baker's a good pick. He's also projected to score 310 points, so that's a lot. But I don't know. Like I said, true. I think I'll leave this next one up to you, and we will update the people, and then after that, I think. We'll see what happens with the rest of the draft because we're one receiver away. We're a receiver and a defense away from
having a starting roster.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, and Henry's got 4 hours left on his clock.
He's got 5 hours, but even when
refresh your screen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you got to refresh.
Way to go, Tom. You broke it. Oh, he does. Oh, he only has 4 hours, 15 minutes. Well, I also will tell you, I think that if he doesn't make the pick in 4 hours, I don't think it matters. I don't think they select for him, or I don't know.
No, he loses the pick is what I thought I read. So he just doesn't get a player.
Well, that's also great news that then I have you as well, because I would probably no, I won't, because I always get I've set up so I get the notification on my phone now. So
this is hard. I don't know where to go.
Anyway, you'll have to think about that. But I think that's it for us today. Who do you think's gonna win tonight?
Which game is it tonight?
Giannis and
Giannis list Bucks.
Yeah, so I'll take the Hawks if Trae Young's playing. I'll take the Hawks either way, probably.
Yeah, I'll take the Hawks here as well.
All right, so everyone got an inside look into our minds. Now Tom is going to be hard at work thinking about who we're drafting next. But hopefully everyone enjoyed this. I'm now removing that. So I don't know. Once again, happy Bobby Bonilla Day, everybody. Also, like I said, breaking news, Giannis is out tonight. And anything else, Tom?
Go Dogs, baby. You already know how it is.
What?